Hi, I'm Annie Yang, and here is my piece of art. It is a collage, and I want to share with you my artist statements on it. As you can see, that there are three parts to this piece, that are integral to understanding it. So up at the top, you can see this long yellow rectangle that goes all the way from this end to the other end, that covers everything that is underneath it. I mean, nearly everything, unless you count like the edges right here where it's white, and that might be important. And this yellow rectangle can represent a lot of things, since it's way up in the sky, and it's the highest thing in the piece. It can represent heaven, and since it's the simplest concept, the simplest shape in the piece. It could also represent simplicity, a static state of mind, a static state of being. I also like to think of it as the bourgeois of society, because it's yellow, and that makes me think of gold, and gold makes me think of money. And looking at this piece in its entirety, I realize that it's a metaphor for how I see my educational life. So up at the top, it looks like it represents life after college, because it's just this blob. It's a nothing but a something, and I don't know what it is. And at first, when I was brainstorming on what it might be, I wrote it down as my career, but that's not exactly right, because then it would be more specific, and one can always see into the future. So this yellow rectangle represents what I don't know about the future, and also it's like that mysterious after college time. I don't know what it is. It's mysterious and all that. And then up here, down, just in the middle, um, you see that there is like this swirling atmosphere. And it looks like to be mass chaos. I mean, I guess it is, but each piece is carefully placed, and it's like they follow a set of rules. It's very rigid, but yet not, because like how swirly it is, and and how the lines are going in all different directions. Another way how these system of lines, they're another way that they're rigid is because you can see how there's like the darkest lines, the darkest thickest lines, and then the thinner lines, and they get thinner and thinner. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they do whatever they want, but at the same time, it's not like you know lines just go crazy everywhere. There's some sort of rule to them. I'll figure it out. And then in the middle, you see this black, red, and yellow shape suspended, floating in the middle. And the way I describe this, this shape, it has a sort of sentience. It's floating in the middle. It wants to get to the top. Maybe it does. Maybe it wants to go back to the bottom. But how you can kind of know this is that it stays in the middle. So it doesn't really know where it wants to go. But perhaps that's not its choice. Maybe it is unable to choose, and just how the way it is keeps it sustained in the middle, and that's just a fact of life, of how it survives, and it just keeps staying in the middle, no matter how much it tries to move anywhere. It just stays in the same place. And it's important to note that it is not a cube, it is not a sphere, but this but this uh, but this 3D shape that has facets and facets that okay. So from what you see here, this is just one way to see this shape. If I moved this somehow, and then you saw it from another viewpoint, this shape could look completely different, because it's not a sphere or a cube. So it represents a multifaceted individual where this is so much depth to it, and the fact that it is more than one color represents that as well. And then down here, this is it takes about half of the piece, a little more. And it consists of these dark gray and black shapes. First are the gray shapes underneath on a white background, and they up at the top, they more like the middle, I mean, but the top of this area, they create a jagged shape that this jagged shape, it's like a transition that was hard to do. Instead of just transitioning completely, it was like a forced transition, and when this area transitions into the swirling lines area, it's like it's like they still want to be together. Do you see that? It's like they still want to be together, and these black shapes, they're like, I like to think of them as buildings, but just because they just look like buildings, but they more. I feel like it's more than that. It's okay. So a way to explain this is is that you see these two figures. Um, I there. Here's a baseball player, and he is standing on this shape, and you see down here, here's a football player, and he is among these shapes, and he is completely all alone, and so is the baseball player. But they're kind of not alone because there are two figures in this piece, but they just don't know that they're not alone, and there are two, and there is another person there to help them. But they're so close to each other, but still they don't see each other. And this one is actively looking for someone, or at least he is expressing emotion from how he is so lost in this dark and treacherous world. Well, this one just perhaps he's just defending himself or living in the moment. I mean, I feel like they're both living in the moment, but this one is more worried and less. This one's more worried, and this one's more agitated. But looking at this entire part down here, this dark part, it it represents this maybe a sort of hell, like like poverty. Just think of any dark and deep part of your life where you just didn't know what to do, and it's just this abyss that never ends. It's like that. But then there's a chance to explore your way and go up here and leave this place, and it will happen, because as you see this multicolored shape, it did leave. It's up there, and it will leave this swirling space soon. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Since I said that, down here it represented like past life, poverty, all that dark stuff. Well, here this represents now. This is now. I like to think of this as the individual, or me myself, and everything around me is just stuff, and I'm just trying to find my way, and I don't want to go back down there, but sometimes I think I do. But most of the time I'm just stagnant and just floating and living and just going by in life. Yep, and this represents psychoanalytic theory.